this collective is currently working on leaving behind the victim mindset. Yes, trying to gain more optimism and more hope. They've run into some obstacles, specifically around teamwork, that type of thing, and just it makes them feel like they're naive, they're foolish, they're a bit afraid of the unknown, that type of thing. Like it's hard to make decisions because even though they're trying to have more optimism and stuff, it's like there's a lot of obstacles. It's hard. We're having a bit of an awakening, a bit of a wake-up call here, as we work towards doing so, right? There's a big choice in our life that we need to make that will lead us to recognition. This choice is around reciprocal partnerships. It's around balancing our inner masculine and feminine energies, you know, that type of thing. Like there's this huge choice. In order to make these beautiful plans that we want to make, we have to, yeah, like this is the moment. This choice is extremely big. It'll be worth celebrating, yes, but we're currently afraid. We're insecure in making this choice. There's a lot of anxiety and fears around it. Yeah, a whole lot of petty arguments, disagreements, squabbling, setbacks, that type of thing. And it's really making it hard to move forward. Like, we want to change our perspective. We don't want to feel this regret, this disappointment, this feeling of loss anymore. And we want to step into being stable, being secure. We're so afraid of the future. Like it really was feeling like we're super creative, we're super intuitive, but we fear our own creation. We don't think we're creative enough. We have an issue for it. And yeah, like that keeps us from choosing new things. It keeps us from going after the things we want. We get kind of stuck. We're afraid of new things. That causes us to block our own creativity. It causes us to just constant delays. There's a lot of manipulation that stems from this because someone told us that our creative ideas, our intuition, our self-expression wasn't really worth it. Right? That we weren't allowed to tap into it, that we were too silly or too childish, or, you know, imagination's bad and creatives aren't a real job and whatever, right? That feeling, right? Yeah, we're kind of afraid to make future plans. Yes. We are going to have a victory over this, though. Spirit's making absolutely sure of it. They want you to have a victory over these weird rules that are in place, and they're trying to bring you some clarity because you do have innovative ideas. They're trying to give it to you, but we just have a block here. Why you need to hear this at this time is because you're hypercritical of yourself and you're living in your mind prison. We've been working on this, and we're currently trying to heal this, so we're aware that we have this issue of being overcritical and of spiraling in the what ifs. What if this happens to me? What if that happens to me? And it's all negative. It's never like, what if it works out, you know? It's usually, well, what if I don't have enough money? What if everybody hates my artwork? What if this? What if that? You know? We're working on it. We're trying to heal this. It's just, we're still a bit overcritical and we're still hanging out in our mind palace. Once we heal this, though, that's when we're going to get more motivation. That's when we get more ideas, more of a spark, and that will call in, like that will help because we have this internal conflict still, right? But the energy is going to multiply and it's going to call in more as we heal this. Right now, we really have a hard time resting. Like, we take life a little too serious. We don't have enough fun. We don't like create for the sake of creating. We don't romanticize our life. We want to, but whenever we start trying to get into that, we start getting hypercritical again. This could stem from hypercritical parents. Like, that's who it's for, right? But both our masculine and feminine energies within us are extremely harsh. They're very, very, very cut and dry with their words. They bully you. If you create something, your creative side says, oh, that's not really good, it could have been better, you know, you're so bad at this. And then if you try to do anything at all outside of creation, your logic mind does the same thing. Wow, you really suck at this, or blah blah blah. Like you never, like, just bombarded on both sides. It's awful. It's a horrible experience. And again, this stems from childhood. There's not very many happy energies or happy memories around creation, around emotions. There's stifled emotions here as well. And Spirit's trying to bring you this truth here, right? They're trying to tell you that our analysis paralysis, our fear of making plans, right? Yeah, like, we have to confront this. We have to confront this and face our truth here, because the truth of the matter is you are the King of Cups. You are not the King of Swords. I mean, we all are, but in this instance, right, you were criticized to oblivion by a King and a Queen of Swords because you were a King of Cups. You were very much in your creative energies. You're very imaginative. You're very whimsy, intuitive. Like, the way you operate is different from somebody else. Your truth is different. You're very unconventional, and they didn't like it. Other people don't like it. The way you operate, the way your mind works is very, very different. And it's supposed to be. You're not supposed to be in the realm of, like, the King of Cups does not need to be the King of Swords. The King of Cups needs to be the King of Cups. They need to create. They need to be an emotion. They need to operate from that space. That's where their home. That's where their home is all in the heart chakra and in the sacral chakra. That's where they're supposed to be. Creative, intuitive, daydreaming, you know, that type of thing. They're not supposed to operate from the mind palace. A imaginative, creative mind stuck in a mind palace is how we end up thinking over all of the worst case scenarios and causing ourselves problems. You know, that's what happens. The energy applied there is not it. And yeah, we're going to have this victory. So using that beautiful mind of yours, all that creative energy, instead of using it in order to critique yourself and imagine all the worst case scenarios, there's a call here to use it to be more imaginative on how things will work out, right? Utilize that power of creation within you to call forth better scenarios. Yes. Yeah, to have a triumph over the initial manipulation, the lies and stuff that somebody else told you, right? A perspective shift. Because right now we're still stuck in the trying to prove that we're a king, trying to prove that what we desire, our needs, should be met. You don't need to prove it. You're already a king. You're the King of Cups and the King of Wands. You don't have to prove anything. The King of Wands is the King of Wands. The King of Wands does not need to tell everybody he's the king. Everyone knows he's the king. He just does. And getting into our Empress energy as well. Like, you're all of these things. Everything I've pulled for you specifically says that you are very imaginative. It says you're very creative. It says you're very much operating from those spaces, and that's where you should be. That's where you are at home at. That's what brings you the most peace, the most joy. Like, that's where you should be at. Not in the mind palace. The mind palace is the worst place for you to be at. Like, if you are left there and you are not allowed to be yourself, you're only going to continue to create more harmful scenarios for yourself. What Spirit wants you to do about it? They want for you to stand in your own power. They want for you to be the Queen of Wands. They want for you to follow your intuition. They want for you to be creative. They want for you to go after what you want. Unapologetically. Take all that passion, all that fire, all that creativity, and go for it. Okay? They also want for you to shine a light on this armor that we're wearing. This armor that's like, that says that we can't show up for ourselves that way, right? That kind of why we have an issue with discipline, okay? Right now we're living in this modality of I have to look like this, I have to be like the dog, I have to be loyal, I have to be well trained, I have to show up a certain way, when we should be the cat. We should knock everything off the table and, you know, be the cat. You're the cat. You're not supposed to be the dog, okay? No. They want you to shine a light on that, because that's the mask we wear. That's the armor we're wearing. They don't want for you to spend all of your time feeling antsy and restless as well, and focusing on what you do not have. They want for you to leave that behind, okay? They don't want for you to sit here and look at all the reasons why your life sucks. That's not a good use of your creativity, because that just keeps us in that never-ending loop. Right? That keeps us in this constant, you know, feeding ourselves our own lies. Being afraid of the transition, shifting out of that perspective. Once you work on letting go of those old arguments, of those old conflicts, of those old ways of thinking that someone else told you, that's when you get your spark back. That's when the motivation comes, that's when the new ideas come, and that's when you can finally start being whimsy. That's when you can finally start enjoying that kind of stuff, right? Getting back into your creativity, that's when the opportunities come in, right? With that plane there, that's when the travel comes in, that's when the new opportunities show up, because we're not afraid to be creative. All this energy around being, like, not being so worried about, will it make me enough money? Will it make me enough money? Will it keep me stable? Will it keep me grounded? If you're following your passion, if you are creating, the opportunities will come, the gate will open. All right? And the money will be there. The money will be there. Just period. The gate opens into the garden where the Nine of Pentacles is. When you follow your creativity, when you follow your passion, that's where you will go. They want for you to not worry about these traditions that you were given, the rules to follow. No, they want for you to build your own foundation. They don't want for you to listen to this. That pillar works for them, that's great. It doesn't work for you. The drama. Yeah. Look at their life and see if it works for you. If you don't like the way it looks, don't listen. Don't listen to their advice. She's so loud. One moment, Spirit's being the drama today. I see it as confirmation, especially since that's 12. So that's that Hanged Man, the shift in perspective, right? The call to go within and embrace our inner Empress. Embrace our inner Empress. See, the Empress is always pregnant in cards, and that's because she's always got a new idea. It doesn't always mean literal pregnancy. It can mean that, right? But she's always creating something new. She's always creating. She's full of fire. She's full of passion. Like getting into here, getting back into our creative energies. Okay? The reason that life feels unfair is because we continue to, like, look, I don't want to work at this job. I really hate where I'm at. I want to go look at the beautiful sunset, but I'm stuck here. I'm stuck here. I keep staying here. And that's why it feels like I am never going to get out of this loop, ever. They want for you to, like, figure that out. They want for you to stop repeating the words of someone else in your voice in your head. And they want for you to finally recognize that you're the King of Wands. You don't gotta prove that you're the King of Wands. And start using your brain and creativity to imagine and call in the things that you actually want. Okay? The number 11 for manifestation. I said what I said. So yes, that's the recap. So let's get into the Oracle Advice cards. I like them. They have, these ones specifically have animals and sentences that I feel give you a bit more food for thought, and more confirmations if you're looking for it. I did see your question, friend. I've already put away my yes/no cards, so I'm not really answering those at this time. Although this whole read has been about creativity and self-expression, and in the house of Sagittarius, which rules travel. So if you are traveling for the sake of creativity or self-expression, it is highly likely that you will indeed travel. So if that resonates, take it. If it does not, leave it. So let's get into the Oracle advice cards and see what advice they can give you on your path forward, and then I will release you to the wilds. So yes, I love that though, getting into why, like, starting to really tap into loving our own creativity again, tapping back into it. I'm gonna light some incense to help clear that negative energy some more. Thank you for the likes, I appreciate you. There we go. Perfect. So, I love that though. Yeah, because if you're creative, you should create. Humans should be creating. Creative adventures are really good for our mental health because it allows us to take energy that we're holding on to, excess energy, and put it somewhere else in a healthy way. Okay, so Spirit, let's ease their fears, soothe their anxieties, and give them some guidance and clarity to help them walk forward on their path. It is my intention that if you see my face, whether here in the live or anywhere else on the internet, that the weight is removed off of your shoulders and you leave feeling lighter. So let's give them some guidance, Spirit, so they can proceed forward. Closing advice from my collective regarding this, Spirit, please. I saw that little chameleon. Let's see if he comes out. Closing advice from my collective here today, Spirit. Like I said earlier, if you have these beautiful ideas and you're telling it to these people who squash them immediately and critique it, stop telling them. You'll find you actually like your ideas and they perform well when you don't tell them to people who are going to try to squash it before it starts. Thank you, Spirit. The fox. I said earlier I saw the fox. That's funny. The fox spirit. Beautiful. 27. Someone here could be 27. It's think on your feet. Thank you for the follows and the likes. Think on your feet. Right now, we're not using our big, beautiful brain for that type of thing. We're not doing it. We are in a little bit of a loop. A loop-de-loop. Hi. If we were using our brain, our big, beautiful, creative brain. Thank you. You as well, friend. If we were using our big, beautiful brain to focus on what if it did work out, we would have a much easier time, right? Especially with all this beautiful orange and red. Orange and red is all about the root chakra, the foundation, the security, us feeling stable. And orange is all about creativity, right? We have koala spirit here in the reversed. Spirit has a plan. We feel like we can't get ourselves out of our situation. We feel like we can't use our brain to make our life better, and we don't trust spirit either. We feel like the universe kind of gave up on us when it could be further from the truth. You're here because they did not. You're here because they gave you an intuitive nudge to get clarity. You asked for answers. You asked for something, and I am here, they are here, and they're letting you know they're trying to help you. Spirit has a plan. The universe has a plan. They're trying to help you out. Truth transcends illusion. 22. That's the builder number, the architect. Truth transcends illusion. Yes. The truth of the matter is that whoever told you that you can't be creative, that what you make isn't really worth anything, that you can't have emotions, that's their reality. That's not the reality, okay? That's not true. Just because it's your, like, even if it's like your parents who are like, you couldn't possibly be successful as a creative. Okay, many creatives out there are successful though, so the reality of the matter is yes, they can. And the only difference between you and that person is that you're in your meat suit and they're in theirs. So we've already disproved that theory, right? Slow and steady wins the race with the turtle spirit, right? So that Knight of Pentacles, that's what I have in my head right now. It's reminding me of that, of showing up for yourself, right? If you really want to be someone who is creative, who puts your ideas out there, do so. It's gonna be slow, right? You gotta show up for yourself. The healing process is slow as well, but it's worth it in the end. Trust in the magic. Okay, with 66, which talks about harmony. Harmony and balance. With that Lover's card. Harmony and balance. With all that blue. Trust in the magic. So as, like, once you start using your mind to think this through and trusting that Spirit's guiding you, right? Realizing that just because someone else says, oh, it can't be done, doesn't mean that that's true. And being okay with showing up and putting that discipline in towards what you want, then all you gotta do is wait for Spirit to meet you halfway, because that's what they need from you. They need for you to shift your mindset. They need for you to come at it differently. They're like, stop operating in that modality, right? If they're telling you that the only way to live is through logic, and ignore your intuition, ignore your creativity, ignore your emotions, why would you have those things if you weren't allowed to use it? Why are they there? You're not supposed to ignore those things. They're inherently within us. They're part of us. We're supposed to balance the two. We're supposed to know when we're too much in here and too much in here, right? There needs to be a balance. Yeah, lay a solid foundation with another 6. So yeah, very heavy harmonizing. Harmony, balance. Balance is key. As you do this, you will lay that foundation. Right now, we're not on a very stable foundation, right? Because again, we have people telling us we have to operate one way, when in reality, you should be operating in your natural way, which is in your emotions, in your creativity, in your intuition. That's where you're supposed to be. But we're up here. And creatives who live up here are very destructive, because these two don't do well together. Like, if they're not in alignment with each other, if they're not working properly, one's going to try to crush the other, and it's going to be very destructive. Because then instead of following the plan, we're following our mood, and then nothing ever gets done, and it reinforces the I can't do anything. And then we just live there, and nothing ever gets done. We don't ever achieve anything other than more pain, you know? $211 is relevant, as well as the number 8. So strength, having the strength to know when we need to quiet those more negative thought processes. Set healthy boundaries with the number 3. That communication, Archangel Michael. Speak up. Yeah, this may be also a call to speak up to those people. If they don't, like I said, if they're telling you, like, if you go to them with your new ideas, with your creative ventures, and they squash it, stop telling them about it. And if they continue to do so, just because they say that it is not, like, just because they have an opinion on it, doesn't mean it's true, that it's fact. That's how they think it is, but that doesn't make it reality. You know what I mean? And you know, you can always call them out. Why do you squash everything I bring up? Why does it feel like whenever I have an idea, you're against it every time? You can do that. You can have that conversation. Yeah, believe in yourself. Create the things. If you want to create, create. Okay? Create. You're supposed to create. Humans are here to create. I create. That's our purpose. Our purpose is to be here and to create. That's what we're here for. I see you, card. And right now we're learning how to sing our own song with that number 12 again. Oh, that's so cute. Have our little crown on with the King of Wands. I don't need to prove myself. I am secure in who I am. I am confident. And I can express myself freely. I can sing. I can play my instruments. I can create. I can make my own beautiful music. And I don't need to prove anything to anyone because I am here. I have been given these beautiful gifts so that I can use them. They are not supposed to be in a cage. Notice how this little bird is not in a cage? We are not supposed to be caging that in. No, I can use them. They are not supposed to be in a cage. Notice how this little bird is not in a cage? We are not supposed to be caging that in. No. They're meant to fly. Create are meant to create. And be more playful. That Page of Cups energy. Be more playful. Be goofy. Get back into your creative self. Be a kid again. Do it. That will get you that motivation. That will spark up those ideas. And embracing the in-between. Right now we're learning. We're transitioning. There's no need to be anxious or restless. In order to change to a new reality, we must first unlearn the old one, right? You don't heal years, decades, a lifetime worth of one way of living overnight. That does not happen. It is a slow process. And besides, if you did that overnight, you wouldn't have the lesson you learned. You would just suddenly be different. You wouldn't have any of what you learned along the way, you know? You wouldn't know who you are because it's in the in-between that you discover who you are, what you like, what you don't like. You know, that's part of it. That's the beautiful part. It's discovery. Last one, and then I'll release you to the wild. Five, positive changes. Last one, please. Thank you. And be fearless and bold. The Four, the Emperor. Yes, be fearless and bold. Look at this little badger. Badger does not care. Badger's wearing all those beautiful flowers, right? No fashion sense, but it doesn't matter because who's gonna tell him? Nobody. Because he looks cute while wearing it, because he's confident. Be fearless and bold. Create boldly. Sing your song boldly. Be who you are boldly. Okay? Do it. Yeah. Do it. Do it. Be fearless, be bold, create, do the thing. Alright? Do it. Love is all around with the nightingale. The nightingale. Love is all around you. Right? 14, Temperance, Sagittarius, Spirit, Angels. You think that if you are this way, people will not like you. No. There are billions of people on this earth. If you go out and you create and you put things out there, your audience will find you. Your community will find you. They will love you. Just because a couple of people don't like what you create does not mean that you are bad at creation. And a rebirth is assured with the number 5. That brings in the rebirth, the new beginning, being able to stand confidently in who you are to create. Yep. You're welcome. So, that is what I have for you today. I hope that it was helpful. Thank you so much for your time and your energy, for trusting and choosing me to be your reader for today. If you are interested in a personal reading, I offer that at the link in my bio. I need 1,000 followers for it to be clickable. I think I may have just passed that today, so I will fix that immediately. If I haven't, well, when I get there it will be. But that's where I offer my services, so feel free to check that out and see if I vibe with you. If I do not, and this is the last time I see you, thank you for choosing me. Oh, beautiful! Thank you! Yes, I will make that clickable immediately. Wow, yay! Gosh. Sorry, that threw me off. I'm so happy. Hi. Oh my gosh, it's been such a long crawl. Let me tell you, if you are worried about being a creative and having people pick you apart, I was the same, okay? I'm here, I'm doing this, people have called me some crazy stuff. And I hit 1,000 subscribers today, and now I want to go cry and eat cake. So, like, thank you. Yes, you're welcome. So, yes, check out that link. I'll make it clickable immediately. That's where I offer my services. If I don't vibe with you and this is the last I see of you, thank you for being here anyway. Thank you for your time, your energy. I wish so much love, joy, abundance, luck, healing, wealth, health, all of it, all the beautiful things for you. And please remember that life is an ever crooked path and you are never off of it, okay? Hey, I'm glad to hear that. If you have chosen to follow me and you do like my vibe, thank you. I appreciate all of you. I really, really do. You're why I come here. Truly. Otherwise, I would have gave up a long time ago. But I appreciate every single one of you. And, oh, if you're watching this from the YouTube when I post it later, I keep forgetting you guys. I'm so sorry. The link will be in the bio, or in the description box down below. Thank you guys so much for being here. And yeah, I can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye!